What's your story?
Hey y'all, I'm Dominique. I'm the owner of Imperial Hookah, and this is my story.
This episode is brought to you by the Loyalty Club, one of the hottest brands out, where they keep their items limited and only for the loyal few. Check us out online at theloyaltyclub.us, or if you're in the New Orleans area, you can check us out at our flagship store, 841 Fulton Street. You already know what time it is. Only for the loyal few, club time.
Okay. So, but you graduated from Dillard.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happened after Dillard? But did you go get one small, part-time job? Did you jump into your career? What happened?
I did pretty much a lot of everything. So when I first started Dillard, I was serving. So I served all over. I served at Acme, Buffalo Wild Wings, all that. Once I graduated from Dillard, I kind of went back to the same thing because I went and got my master's. So of course I was still back in school. I was a pro college student. So again, that's kind of how my hookah business came about, because I got kind of tired of bartending, serving, doing part-time jobs, interning. Unfortunately, the city I was in, so I went to Huntsville, Alabama, which is, I went to the school, Alabama A&M. So when I went out there, none of the clubs out there had hookahs. So I decided I wanted to create a nice hustle for myself that would at least be an investment into myself instead of investing into everybody else's business. So that's kind of how the idea became about of owning a hookah business.
So you came back to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And so how was that coming back, being one entrepreneur and trying to still focus on having one career?
For me, it was kind of a quick transition because I already had some people out here who was already still in the nightlife, blah. So that was the easy part as far as my career. That was kind of hard part because I really didn't know what exactly I wanted to do or how I wanted to juggle a professional life as well as owning a hookah business, because that's two different entities. One is of course a 9-to-5, and then the other one is a nighttime job. So it was a little rough at first. It was very rough because first I was a traveling therapist. So I was a telehealth therapist. Then I went into the school, and of course that's not something I promote as far as my hookah business and what I do, because I work at a school. So trying to work till 3-4 o'clock in the morning and then wake up and go back to 9 to 5 was a little bit challenging. So it's not something I would promote to people to do.
Gotcha.
Unless you are really good with time management.
So becoming one teacher in New Orleans, you was telling me last week about some of your episodes and stories. So do you think being one teacher in New Orleans right now at this current state is one very entertaining job as well?
Yeah, it's a little entertaining. It was a little rough at first because I never saw myself being a teacher, so it's that was a whole different thing, as far as me learning about myself. But once kind of the kids found out about me and my story and stuff I had been through, I became a relatable person. So you always have your trouble kids who look at you and be girl, what you know. But a person like myself, I got shot when I went to Dillard. So when they find out stuff like that, when they find out my hustle, my business, stuff I have going on, then in their head I'm not just a teacher telling them what to do. Is no,
you're more
I didn't think through that. So it's entertaining. It is very entertaining because I feel the kids be thinking I'm on their level, or I feel they think they on my level a little bit. So it is it's kind of the highlight of my day. So
gotcha. So let's bring it back before we go forward. Getting shot. What happened? Actually, what was your mind state after as well?
I was 18. I think I had 2 months left before I graduated from Sci. And I was just kind of going through that point in life where I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I really didn't want to go to college. College really was not my thing. By me being homeschooled, a lot of my credits didn't transfer over. So I was in my right grade, but homeroom and stuff like that, I was behind. So when it came time for senior year, everybody going to college and they're getting their acceptance letters, and I was behind. So college was not on my list. At that point, I said I was gonna go to the military. I don't know why the military, but I said I was gonna go to the military. So I decided I wanted to be back outside. Went outside, went to a party, and I got hit. So that was that. It kind of like took an effect on like my mental health because I never like saw that obviously like happening for myself because it wasn't like, you know, I was like in the streets for real. But it kind of like took me to like a really dark point in my life, but I felt like that's what made me wanted to go into like helping kids, or at least like being a relatable person to other people, because now like I can understand like, you know, addiction. I can understand like suicide. I can understand like mental illness and like, you know, wrong place, wrong time, or like right place, right time, or like however you want to describe it. But I can understand like the ins and outs and like how and why people maneuver how they do.
Right. And like, you know, getting shot, it doesn't happen to everyone. So it's like when you get shot, on like especially when it's not meant for you, and you kind of question God and a lot of different things like why me. So like, you know, like even going to school after that, like it probably made you a little like shell shock as well, like actually when you actually seen most stuff. So like, you know, how did you like remain focused to actually, you know, to actually go through school?
Mentally, I'm gonna be honest, I checked out for about like the first 3 years after I got shot, because when I went straight into Dillard, I went to Dillard like 2 months after I got shot. So I was freshly like, you know, I still had the bullet in my ankle. I had like a cast. I was on crutches. Like they used to like maneuver me around like on a golf cart, like wheelchairs. Like it was bad. But it kind of got to the point where I felt like I was just placed in school just to kind of like help other people. Like I don't really feel like school really was meant for me at that time. But I think that's what you said, like you kind of get into like questioning God, like, okay, God, like why this happened to me out of all people? Like, you know, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, you know, can I make a testimony out this? Like what is the benefits, or, you know, what's the positive about this? So my first 2 years, honestly, I want to say like it was most so, I guess, rediscovering myself and trying like rediscover God, going through therapy, like rehab, like learning like how to walk again, like, you know. But I'm not gonna lie, like I was still being a kid, so like, you know, I was still trying to go outside. I was still trying to be like relatable with my friends and like still do other stuff. But it's kind of like I don't really feel like they really like genuinely understood me. So I felt like it put me into like a deeper like mental state.
So you weren't even like scared of like going back outside, like man, I'm trying to go back
I was back outside literally 3 weeks after I got shot. Like that's how like out of it I was. Cause in my head like it didn't happen. Like even though it happened, like it didn't happen. Cause in my head it's like that really didn't happen. So I was right back outside, and every time I went outside, somebody got shot. Dang. So literally, I would be at a party on crutches, literally crawling or either being carried out of the party.
Trying to get away to make sure you get shot again. That's crazy. But you would change for the world, like, but if you experienced it, and like, you know.
I'm gonna be honest, like, I probably wouldn't go back and change it solely because, like,
it was a learning experience.
Like I said, like, I feel like when you are a people's person, or if you're a person like in nightlife, or a person who work a 9 to 5, like working with other people, like you do understand them more. Like it do make you relate to them more, instead of you just sitting there like nodding and being like, oh, okay, cool, like I understand. Like you don't understand. So I feel like, you know, it was unfortunate that it happened to me, but I feel like I learned so much about myself, like good, bad, dark, and ugly, that I feel like I wouldn't change it.
And you actually learn who cares and like how people treat you as well.
Yeah.
So like, actually, this question, like after getting shot, like did that actually, I don't like determine actually what guys you kind of, I'm like date, like, you know, I don't think I won't date him because, you know, if he in the streets, he, you know, if it's liable to happen again or whatever.
Not necessarily, because I feel like during that time I end up like trauma bonding with those type of dudes because they understood it. So I felt like it made me trauma bond with them. Like you know, I end
just
up.
story and actually
Yeah,
I'm not relate with
either
that.
they understood it, they've been through it, when their partners got killed, something like that. So I felt like I didn't really. I'm not gonna say I dated them or like took them serious, but I also felt like
built the bind?
it was the bond because I felt like, you know, a normal quote unquote person looking at a girl who got shot at 18, like they're not really about to. At least back then, that's how I felt. I felt like they wouldn't take me serious because you got shot. Like, so that's kind of how I felt. That's exactly how I felt.
Right.
But it ended up being the opposite. But like I said, at that time, like I was so lost. Like I was 18 going to a party to get away from school and life, and like literally I come out getting shot, and I got shot so quick I didn't even know I got shot.
Right.
So.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
like, you know, fast forward.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before we get back to you being a teacher, like, if you could describe it, how is the dating life for you in New Orleans?
It's interesting. I would say it's interesting. It's not the worst, but I kind of feel like everybody out here on their own wave. So I feel like everybody feel like they got options, which if you're a person who want to settle down, you know, maybe that's not your cup of tea. But if you're a person who's not at this point in your life wanting to settle down, then you feel like, you know, the world is yours. So I feel like dating out here, it's a little confusing, but you know, you make it what it is.
Yeah, but I think it's about certain age demographics and also actually what people been through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people kind of like been there, done that for a long time. You know, after a certain age, they're like, man, I ain't really want it. Like, I was nothing out there for me in the streets no more.
But I feel like, from my experience, people will say that, but they also don't have the backup plans to get themselves out the streets. So I feel like, you know, the boys who been in the streets their whole life, like, yeah, once they hit the point of like 25, 26, 27, maybe 30, 32, between 25 and 32, they'll say like, yeah, they want to get out the streets. Or yeah, they want to settle down, but they're not doing anything to settle down. Like, they're not dating, you know, to be committed. Like, they're not building to own a house. They're not looking to build a legacy. Like, they just feel like, oh, you know, I'ma still date these girls, but y'all not gonna see me outside. Like, that's them being out the streets. But it's like, no, it take more than that. Like, it actually take like dedication to want to commit to somebody, or like want to have something, even if it's not marriage. Like, it's putting in the effort behind it. Like,
but you know, on vice versa, like just like speaking up for like a lot of these guys out here, like they didn't have too much to like follow behind.
yeah.
Like, a lot of these you know, if these young men haven't had like a father figure to see who like actually really ran the household. You gotta think about it. In New Orleans, 80% of the dudes saw they saw a female run a household, so they don't even know what it's like for a male to actually run a household, or to even be one full provider. So it's like really they out there freestyling. Like also like how you mentioned earlier about the streets. Like shit, I always told my mom if I ever get caught, I quit. So when I got caught, I quit at 25.
Yeah.
And I haven't sold anything ever since. But everybody have a strong mind like that. It's the same thing as me stop drinking. Everybody's got that strong mind. But the thing is, it is hard, like, for the jump out the street and like go get a job. You're not gonna make the same type of money.
I know.
Like, people expecting you to be the same type of person and spend the same type of money when you don't have that money no more.
I mean, it's not even like as far as you getting a 9 to 5. It could be something as simple as like investments. Like, you know, if you feeling like, okay, cool, you want quick money, invest into stocks. Like, do something. Like, create another hustle. Like, and you know, again, I'm not a girl who in that type of business, so I can't speak on that side. But I feel like, you know, you have people who risking their life every day hustling, but it's like, you 50 years old, you still hustling. Like, at this point, you should want to retire from that. Like, you should have a legacy behind you. Like, you should be able to be comfortable at this point in your life, not want to hustle until you 75, you know, with no security, like no credit, no nothing. Like, you should want to at least at some point come clean and like actually have something for yourself, whether it's flipping houses, like flipping cars, like trash companies, like cutting grass. Like, it's buku businesses
the craziest
out there.
part about, like, now that I know with like dudes hustling, you see a lot of money, but nobody really like influence you and tell you that credit is way more important than the money.
I know.
Like, you can have no money, but credit could bring you a long way. But like, you actually got the money to pay all that stuff off and get your credit to the next level, but nobody teaches you that.
I know.
Like, why are you hustling? You just think, oh, I got full money. Yeah, you're taking pictures with the money, but your credit really a 490.
If that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you probably have zero credit.
213.
Probably have zero credit. But I'm saying in general, like, nobody teaches that.
Right.
And like, I think that's crazy. Like you don't find a problem with that. Like, it's like like they got people like so-called big dogs and mentors, but nobody tell them go get some credit.
Nah, because I feel like, no shade, no tea, I feel like when you come out of New Orleans, like by me moving away and coming back, I really do feel like New Orleans, and not even just New Orleans, but most big cities, it's like crabs in a bucket. Like, you go to these other like tourist big cities, like they welcome you in, you know, in their mind, like you foreign. So it's like they're not looking at you as competition. Like they're easily taking
like
you.
You are one on a threat.
You're not. So in their head, like they're willing to put you on because they're willing to invest into you, see what you're doing, because like you said, in their head, like you're not really a threat to them. But that's also like a good and a bad thing, because it's like you go to these other cities and you so quick to come on, but then you come home and it's like, dog, like I grew up with y'all. Like, you hiring somebody to do the same thing I do. You know, you wouldn't have paid somebody more money than you paying me because you know me. Like, so.
And also, but that's the same thing, you know, I saw in the interview earlier. Like, basically, you can open up a business. Like, you have a hookah business, right? Mm-hmm. If I smoke hookah, I might go to somebody else and buy a hookah, or like go purchase hookah, because it's not you. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, because I would rather not put more money in your pocket because I don't want to see you do better than me.
Right.
And like, and you were right, but that happens in a lot of cities. But like, I've been to a lot of different cities, and like, all those cities got people that has crab and buckets. But it's like, you know, like for us, like New Orleans and like the South, people up north and like certain other like places on the West Coast feel like kind of feel like most people in the South of the country anyway, so they don't feel like you're gonna actually become nothing that big anyway. Yeah. So that's why they help you. But like, I don't think you know everybody just had their own little motives. Yeah. But like, back to being a teacher, mm-hmm. Like, you know, you was telling me crazy stories about, you know, because like right now New Orleans is known for like, you know, you getting your car broken into and different things like that, mm-hmm. And like mainly the people that's bringing in your car and doing all the crazy stuff are teenagers, kids, and like, you know, every these teachers are like dealing with these kids every day, like no one ever hears the stories from the teachers, like these kids are the kids on the news, but I'm seeing this child every day and seeing him transition from a good child to a baby gangster. So like, you know, I want you to like chime in on like a few stories that like kind of caught your attention, like, dang.
So about that, like I have a few kids. Luckily, you know, I don't work at like no super duper bad school, like no high school, nothing like that. So my kids are fairly like decent. Like the most they might do is find your Instagram and like spam it, but it's never like on no real like hot stuff. But it was a situation where one of my little kids, they end up bringing like the little window buster like to the school or whatever. So, you know, dude be doing his thing. So, you know, they do what they do. So we just genuinely like having a conversation. I don't even know what we talking about. We just holding like random conversations because like I said, you know, I be trying to like chop it up with him. So I don't know how it come about, but he pull out the little window thing. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, what is this? He was like, yeah. And I'm like, hold on. I said, so you about to go mess with people's cars? He was like, yeah. He was like, but your car good. Like, I'm straight with you. Like, you good. Like, I'm never going to touch your car. And I'm like, okay. Like, at that point, it's like, first off, how do you even know my car? Like, let's start there. Like, you know, how do you even know my car? And B is like, okay, so what happens like the day, like, I have a bad run-in with you? Like, you going to decide, like, you going to hit my car? Or, like, if you see me out, you gonna hit the car behind me and be like, no, like, I know her. Like, nah, her car good. Like, it just be crazy. But it's like when you actually, like, know these kids, like, I know, like, the stories, like, you hear about them, like, on TV or, you know, whatever you read, it be so bad. But it's like when you actually, like, talk to these kids, like, it really do be a motive behind it. Like you said, like, it don't just be, like, the good suburban kids, like, who's bored and they just came across, like, weed, marijuana, nothing like that. Like, no, it really do be children who've been raising themselves since like 3, you know. And that's not like to say it's okay, because, you know, it is what it is, but it's like most of these kids really do be raising themselves since 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, seeing their mama, drugged out, cracked out, like if mama even in the house. So it just be, like I said, like you try not to like support them and be like, look, like, but at the same time, like, when you do hear these stories or like when they tell you certain stuff, it's like, no, son, like, you kind of have to chill out. Like at some point you have to want more than so on and so forth, especially like when these kids coming to you telling you, like you said, like how like they dad done got killed, their brother done got killed, sister, auntie, cousin drugged out. Like I got kids right now, I'm 27, I got kids right now who like 11, 12, 13 telling me like their mama my age. Like, so I mean, I'm not saying I'm super young, but it's just like I'm basically like picturing myself at 12, 13 years old, like raising a kid. Like, so it do be certain situations where it's like you really do have to like sit down with a kid and be like, no, like I'm an adult, like I could be outside and I could do this, I could do that, but there's no way like you're supposed to be 12, 13, 14 years old trying to go to Shamrock with me. Like, again, and it's just crazy because it's like, how do y'all even know what this is?
But in their defense, I felt like I was going to places like that at 12, 13, 14 because I had older cousins that were like maybe a few years older than me. Like, man, I could get you in there. Like, I remember being young as hell in Key West. I remember being young as hell at the Decker shop on Carrollton. Like, I'm young trying to holler at older women just to see if I get their number. And like, if I was, if I got their phone number, I used to kind of be scared to even like tell them something because I know what to tell a grown woman. But I'm just saying, in general, I can see them kids trying to holler at the teachers. So since we talk about the teachers as well, but a lot of teachers has been getting caught messing with students and everything like that. So like, where do you draw the line then when a student becomes like too aggressive and like really trying to get at you for real?
I've never really had a kid become too aggressive. Like I've had kids like hit on me, like, and again, like I do feel like, I mean, I'm not a super young teacher, but it's also not a huge age gap. So I'm like 10 years older than some of my kids. So in their head, I'm TD, I'm auntie, I'm big sister. So it's like I feel like, certain stuff is like, if they be like, oh, you look cute, you look pretty, like from the girls, I'll accept it, long as it don't go too far. As far as the boys, like I don't feel like anything is aggressive. As far as like a boy pulling on me, nothing like that. Like I ain't never had that. I'll hear like a few comments, like a little boy called me Miss Parker, and I had to pull him to the side and be like, little boy, like stop playing with me. Like I don't play like that. Like, cause it's like certain stuff like that. Like it'll entice another little kid to like keep going and keep going. But as a whole, I feel like I've already kind of drew a boundary like with the kids. Like yeah, we could joke, we could play, like because again, it's like. Y'all still need somebody that understand y'all. Like I'm working with people who like 65, 70. So it's like, but also at the same time, like it take that one joke, that one playful like quote unquote comment. Next thing you know, somebody mama seeing it or they thinking like I'm their girlfriend. So no, so never had it, but I can tell you 100% being a young teacher in a school is not for the weak. It is not for the weak at all. Not for the weak.
Like, that's crazy because if you see so many like news articles about these teachers getting like getting caught up messing with these young dudes like like the people sit back like, why you messing with a kid? Like actually, what can a kid do for you? But shit, I be messing with them, but I be saying the kids still got some good backs, and these women messing with these old ass men, and these kids flirting with you every day and making you feel special. You never know what might happen.
I don't know. People twisted. That's all I can say.
I think it's a mental problem.
It is. I think it's more than a mental problem. Like you said, I feel like it's comforting. Like it's that not intimacy, because I don't want to say it like that, but if for the people who I do see it, who are the teachers who are getting caught, is the teachers teaching high school kids. Right. So like you said, like you got them kids who 18 years old.
But I still think it's a mental issue because I'm like in my mind, like you got it on your mind that you telling me you think that this child not gonna tell nobody that your old ass messing with them. Like you gotta be like in a different mind frame, not thinking you gonna get caught eventually.
But my thing is like you don't get nothing like from gaining from that. Like you messing with children. Like a child who don't have nothing going for themselves at the moment.
Some of them actually get pregnant and really be looking for a family with these children.
And that's sick.
What you think their parents?
That
You think
is
their parents gonna
sick.
accept
That
your
is
old ass coming in
sick.
there talking about I'm pregnant for my baby?
That's sick.
What you gonna put him on child support? He's a child.
They be the ones that be posted up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, send these children money, and it's like, you don't feel like that's gonna trace back to you? Like, you sending this child thousands of dollars, who 14, 15, 16, where they getting this money from?
I ain't gonna lie to you, just me. If my teacher would send me $1,000 when I was young, I would not tell nobody. I would don't tell nobody. Like,
Oh,
this is a come up.
It's more than that.
And guess what? I will extort you. If you try to stop paying me, oh no, I'm gonna tell on you.
So y'all locked in.
Yeah, you locked.
For
We
lifers.
locked in.
For lifers.
Do not change on me. Keep that same energy with the $1,000.
So what happens when you won't mess with your partner?
Hey, but you better give both of us $1,000. You better have your money right. I ain't gonna be mad at you messing with my partner.
Insane.
But guess what? Now you got two people extorting you.
That's insane.
So that's on you if you want to mess with both of us.
That is crazy.
Anyways, moving forward. So like, being one, have teacher, entrepreneur, like what do you enjoy most about it? And what do you dislike about it?
One thing I think I like about it is that I feel like it's a hustle. And whether it's with a person want to have a 9-to-5, a person want to have a business, like, you still have to genuinely be dedicated to it. Like, so I really do feel like my business taught me discipline. Because like I said, I'm not gonna lie, like, I was a person, like, if I didn't like the job, if I didn't like the school, if I didn't like the people, I'm out. Like, I'm quitting it first day, first training. I ain't even make it to sign my name. Like, I'm out. But I think once you do have a business, like, you can't just ban every upset customer. Like, you can't just block every time somebody want to book you and then they don't send a deposit right then and there. Like, so I do feel like it teaches you patience about yourself. It teaches you, like, how to be a people's person, like how to connect to different demographics, whether it's like different sales, like sales throughout the year, designs. It also like keeps you open-minded when it comes to knowing like whatever is trending today may not be the same like 4, 5, 6, 7 months from now, even like a week from now. One thing that I would say I dislike about it, sometimes I feel like I have to code switch. So sometimes it's like it's a 50-50 thing. Like, obviously, I can't go into my traditional job or traditional, job moving forward wanting to talk about being a business owner all day or how I've been up all night, because I had to do a private event or so on and so forth. So, but sometimes, like I said, like, you just have to kind of use everything to your advantage. Like, even with those conversations, I can go to my boss and be like, hey, like, look, I'm not gonna lie, I've been up all week, I don't have hookah staff this week, so on and so forth, or hey, I may have to leave early to go pick up this shipment, something like that. And sometimes it does make them like respect you more and take you more seriously, and you never know who you networking with. Like, even with me being a teacher, I didn't even realize half of like the parents know me from my hookahs, and half of them like come to me and be like, hey, like, I know you have a hookah business, and they also have a business, and like they'll reach out to me for private events. They'll reach out to me to like even do businesses and like combine stuff together. So
I would have been sending my flights home with the kids. That's just me personally.
Not for tobacco products. They do that.
If I know it's not legal, I'm just saying in general. That hey man, look, since you know, you might as well go hand and slide that, slide it over to your mama.
Nah, their parents be knowing. And I didn't even realize like how much I guess social media plays a part into our life now. Because like when I would call parents because the kids working on my nerves, they'd be like, oh yeah, we know you. I'm like, you know me? How you know me? And like, oh, baby, we already researched you. The kids already pulled up your Instagram. We know you own a business. We support it. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, girl, what?
Shout out to the teacher.
Shout out to the teacher.
Because I remember when I was young, we had some old ass teachers. We had no relatable teachers.
Absolutely not. We had the waddling ones, the angry ones, the ones.
I didn't even know. Like, I actually thought it was a certain age to become a teacher. If how old the teacher was when I was young, like I thought you had to be just old and damn near
old and angry.
Yeah,
old and
like,
angry.
And wearing a big old like skirt dress looking things. Like everybody just dressed like
glasses down.
And like kind of like when I was young, teachers wasn't as revealing.
Yeah.
Like now you can look on Instagram and social media like, dang, I wish that was my teacher when I was young.
Yeah.
I'd been more inspired of going to school.
I had to definitely clean up my Instagram. I had to clean up my social media 100% before I became a teacher. Not because it was revealing, but because I felt like, you know, I was me. Like, whether it was my piercings, my tattoos, me going out to the club, like certain photo shoots, because I used to be heavy into like modeling prior to like, you know, becoming a teacher. So, but it's certain things like, you know, you kind of have to clean up a little bit just so, you know, they don't get the wrong idea about you.
Yeah, but do you still want to be a model?
Yeah.
Still think about it?
Yeah. It just it's like I said, I'm at a point now, I'm not 22 no more.
Right.
Like back then I didn't have nothing to lose outside of just like
Now you gonna lose
a degree. So back then it was like, you know, social media, I mean, it was still big, but it wasn't as big as like people you work with finding you. Like they had to go through loopholes to find you. Now they could just put in your number on Cash App. Like they could find your address, your phone number. Like I done had kids. I saw in my life, I had a kid come up to me. My first 2 days as a teacher, did a background check on me, found my address and phone number.
Hey, but I see why kids going to people's houses bringing in their cars, huh? I know where you live. The crazy was, I don't know how they do it because I be trying to research just stuff on me and I can't find myself, so I don't know what site they be on.
Maybe they will go through the loops to find you if they really want to. But
these kids are way more informative. Like,
I know.
Hey, but I gave my son a loyalty club chain. And he told me the next day how much it cost and everything. He said, I went to the website and everything. Like, just everything I tell him, he done researched it all already. I'm like these kids are like this generation, they want to know everything. Mm-hmm. They want to know it to the T. But they don't make A's and B's. Like, if you take that same much.
They're not interested in that. Cause
I'm saying, but if you take that same energy, y'all y'all have way more technology than we had. Yeah. Like, just with ChatGPT. True. I would probably be an honor roll student with ChatGPT.
But I feel like for everything, like technology wise, it's the loophole, good and bad around it. Like with the ChatGPT, you know, they have it now where like if you submit it, they could like find like the source from it.
Right.
Like, so I feel like it's good, but I also feel like it dumbs the kid down. Like when I was their age, like I think the most we had was like the IMVU, we had like the Sims, we had LimeWire, like, and then MySpace.
I'm 36. You know how hard it was to go to the library and search on that little old computer where the book was at, just to find the book. I'm not even talking about just to go like we didn't have Google when I was like in middle school and stuff like that. Google, I wish Google existed.
I had Google.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I am like Google, like you know, like I wish.
Which I had Bing.
Man, we had. You had to be rich to have an internet. Then the internet took a long time, like a dial, like it wasn't near as close to what people had. Now I used to just tell kids like, man, if I had a cell phone, but if I had free text messages before
all
Katrina,
day, I'm about to say all day.
Man, I would have been lit.
Man, what?
I had to send a long text message out because it was 10 cents.
Oh no!
I had to make sure it counted. Yeah, but now people got little short words.
Sent it, baby. We had that house phone.
Yeah, I remember I'm talking about like my high school last 2 years. We had like the little Nokia phone that was free after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And weekends, then it turned to 7 o'clock.
That's when we started.
And the text message still wasn't free.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when these kids got free text message, internet, you can actually not actually like, and I kind of think it kind of ruined the kids' motivation. Mm. So tell the people, I'm like, what's next for you?
Everything. I'm currently in nursing school right now, so we about to get about teaching. We gonna.
Hey, but you gonna miss the kids?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm gonna try to get into like they got something called a psych nurse, so it's basically like a nurse who work with.
And they make a lot of money.
100% glad you know. So we.
My fiance did that, but she said it can actually make you crazy too. Now work with crazy people.
I mean, I work with crazy people.
Well, you're a crazy kid. I'm talking about when a person just staring at you all day across the window. That's a whole different thing. But I can't say, but a psych nurse is kind of easy because all you do is passing out pills. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with that. Trying to get more into my traveling business and my hookahs, and then get back into modeling hopefully. So we gonna just keep going up the ladder.
Gotcha. And last but not least, tell the world. I'm like, actually, what can they find you in your business?
Y'all can find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Amazon, business, you name it, it's gonna be I don't care Dommy. So it's IDC4Cs_Dommy, and on there I also showcase my hookah business, which is called Imperial hookah_HSV. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook with that.
Gotcha. We done.